weekend has kind of been a microcosm of their season. They play good for a couple of innings, and then the struggle kicks in. Here's a look at the starting lineup for the Bears. Mackenzie Wilson, who has a couple hits this weekend, 3 to be exact. She patrols center field. Taylor Strain batting second and left. Casey West at second. They've moved Anna Watson down to the 9-hole today. The first pitch on a Sunday from Hope Troutwine is a little in for ball 1. DJ, we're excited to see Hope Troutwine make her Big 12 debut.
Yes, and again, this is my first time to see Hope live this season, and I love getting the Sunday start, coming out strong, missing a little low there for a ball, but I'm really looking forward to see her take advantage of this opportunity. She has been really solid all season. Great stat line, great numbers, but Big 12.
Yeah.
All things change when you get to conference play.
The 2-0, ball 3. She's falling behind here. 3 balls and no strikes to Wilson, who this week in Destiny, she's a problem when she gets on base. Stolen 12 bases so far this season.
And, you know, I think, like, to DJ's point with the fact that this is conference play, things start to change. You know, you get a different type of energy.
That pitch that's in for a strike. We've seen it from Wilson, no doubt about it this weekend. She has been the only true offensive punch that Baylor has had. And 1 for 3 with the only run scored of the weekend so far for Baylor in the first inning of game 1. The 3-1 is ball 4. Well, give me your scout. DJ, you have coached against Hope Troutwine, or at least been around her coaches from North Texas, and obviously an in-depth understanding of her strengths and weaknesses. What do you need to see today?
You know, for Hope, she has good velocity. She works around the zone, even though we just saw the leadoff walk here to Wilson. But one thing she does well is she throws pitchers pitches. I always feel like we're missing a little bit outside there for a ball, but you walk away from facing Hope Troutwine and you go, how did we not get any hits? and it's simply because you are swinging at pitches that are missing. Hitters are essentially swinging at balls. They're not swinging at strikes, but they have such good movement and they are deceptive and look like they're going through the zone.
Everyone does find the outside corner for a ball and a strike. A little Bronx cheer from the crowd. The walk to Wilson to lead the game off is only the 10th walk so far this season in 40 2/3 of an inning from Hope Troutwine. Not too shabby.
Not at all.
1-1 bunt is foul, just out of the reach of a diving Lindsey Elam. Gives us a chance to set that Sooner defense with Elam back behind home plate. Jana Johns at third, Grace Lyons at short, with Tiare Jennings another start at second, and Taylon Snow at first. Alyssa Brito gets the call in right, Lou Donahue in left, and of course that no-fly zone in center field with Jada Coleman. Ball and 2 strikes, swing and a miss. There you go. Oh, that's the Hope Troutwine week season. Strikeout in 22, and there's 1 away.
Love seeing the rise ball through the zone, and again, that's that deception that we were just talking about. But great comeback from that leadoff walk. Love to see the K here in the first inning from Hope Troutwine.
Here's Casey West, second baseman. Right-handed hitter, fouls the first one back to us for strike 1. West went 0 for 2 yesterday. And then the opener was 0 for 2 as well. Batted 9th in game 1. She hit 3rd yesterday. She's hitting in the 3-hole again today. The 0-1. Called strike 2. That's a strike today.
As it should be every day.
Right?
Right?
That's going to make it tough on those hitters.
I was kind of like, I guess with DJ in here, we'll take it. We'll take it.
No balls and 2 strikes. The pitch well outside.
And that shouldn't be a strike.
Scoreless game here, just underway. The 1-2 is up high. 2 balls and 2 strikes as West digs in. The pitch, fouled straight back. Now on that pitch, Wilson was going at second. Something you got to keep an eye on. She's 12 for 14 in stolen base opportunities this season.
And she's taken off a few times this weekend. We've seen it not really go well for Baylor, trying to steal some bags so far this weekend. But again, good hit and run count, or excuse me, a run and hit count.
The 2-2. Off the glove of Elam on a punch out as Wilson takes off for second and gets the bag. It's the second strikeout. There's 2 away, but Mackenzie Wilson moves into scoring position as she was going on the pitch. That was, you don't see that very often from Lindsey Elam, do you?
No, and one of the most solid catchers you will see behind the plate is Lindsey Elam. It happens, but good read. You got to tip your hat a little bit to Wilson. Good read on the base paths.
First pitch in for a strike to Sydney Koyasos, who is starting behind the plate today after starting at third the first 2 games. 338 average on the season, has driven in 17 runs and has a chance to break what's been quite a slump for opponents against the Sooners. The 0-1, low for a ball and a strike. With Koyasos batting here, Destiny and DJ, with Wilson standing on second base, opponents are 0 for their last 33 against the Sooners with runners in scoring position.
And I think that goes back to the defense, too. And I know our pitchers have been extremely dominant. But the defense, like DJ said, with the Gold Glove plays from yesterday and just getting to see those highlights, the plays behind the pitcher, that also gives your pitcher a chance to be extremely confident in the circle. So I think that's what we're saying, and having just that defense behind you, they're unstoppable.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Great point. The pitch, swing and a miss. Make it 0 for 34. Has a deep understanding of the tradition and the history of Joan Joyce. So we lost her, passed away last night. So Coach Gasso wanting to pay tribute as the first pitch of the game is low to the TRA Jennings. Had a good look there at Dariana Orm, who is the starting pitcher today. She started the game on Friday against the Sooners, and Oklahoma had some success against her. Chased her pretty early in that game, but a 3.28 ERA, and DJ second time around to see Orm.
Yes, and we saw some flashes of success here and there, and that missed outside for a ball, but the Sooners got to her pretty quickly. And one thing that Orm really struggled with on Friday that I think we saw the Baylor pitchers have more success with yesterday was the off speed. Orm did not have much of a change of speeds on Friday, and if she wants to stay in this game long, we're going to need to see her change speeds and get these hitters off balance.
2-0, in for a strike, 2 balls and a strike. That's TRA Jennings leading things off for the Sooners, as she has had this weekend. Our Sooner starting lineup brought to you by the OU College of Professional and Continuing Studies. Degrees online, on-site, on your schedule. Jennings, Alo, Lions 1 through 3 to start this game off for the Sooners. Here's the 2-1. Skied behind home plate. Immediately off the bat, Koyasos couldn't find it, but it was well out of play for strike 2. Elam in the cleanup spot today with Taylon Snow batting 5th. Jada Coleman moves up to the 6th spot with Elisa Burrito batting 7th. Jana Johns, the third baseman, Diego, and Lou Donahue batting 9th. Impressive numbers, 405 average for TRA on the season, 11 home runs, 34 runs batted in, second on the team in both. The 2-2. Line shot, right field, down for a hit. Just past the diving glove of the Baylor second baseman, Casey West. And Destiny, not a bad piece of hitting to start things out from TRA.
No, it's actually a really great piece of hitting. Just the way that she was battling off the balls at her hands and then being able to identify that low outside pitch and really go with it and find a hole for it right in right field.
Here's Alo in her first at-bat at Marita Hines Field since becoming the all-time home run leader in college softball history in a career. She hit a home run. She's at 102 as the first pitch is inside for a ball.
Off of Orm, no less.
Yeah. She is, I'll tell you, and it was off Orm, you're right. The thing that's really impressive to me, and we say it a lot, probably to the point where some are like, okay, we get it. A complete hitter. I mean, she is she's hitting over 500, 545 to be exact, as the 1-0 misses outside. They pitched around her a bit late yesterday, didn't they, DJ?
They did, and in a situation that we were up here second guessing a little bit.
Sure.
But, you know, it wound up working out for Baylor, but at least Allah wasn't the one that ended the game. It was someone else. So
what do they say? Don't let your best players beat you?
I guess.
Or the opponent's best players beat you?
Yes.
The pitch. Little out. 15 home runs on the season for Jocelyn Allen.
And Plank, I think my favorite stat with Aloe is, yes, we know she hits home runs, but my favorite is the slugging percentage at 1.34. Like, that's unbelievable because, you know, obviously she hits a ton of home runs, but she's also hitting gaps when she needs to. And I think that's the most important thing in scoring so many runs for this team.
So after the leadoff hit to T.R.A. Jennings, I don't want to say an intentional walk, but would look to be somewhat of an unintentional intentional walk. She'll head down to first base. I say 103 is the number she's at. Did I say that right earlier? Or did I say 103? She's at 103 on her career, by the way, it's Olive. Can't get in trouble with our Twitter shout-out crew here tonight.
They're going to hold you accountable.
They're going to hold me. They should. They should. Here's Grace Lyons with the runners at first and second. OU trying to get out to an early lead here. The first pitch from Orm shows bunt, pulls it back, takes the ball. Orm is not close to the zone right now, DJ.
She's not, and that's something that got her in trouble on Friday night as well. And here's the thing. You need to miss as a pitcher, but they need to be quality misses and competitive misses. Right now, we're seeing Orm off the plate quite a bit on both sides. When she's coming inside, she's nearly hitting batters. On the other side of the plate, she's in the other batter's box. So I understand being careful and trying to expand the zone, but in the same token, you have to have competitive misses.
And I think that's something from last weekend Chris and I were talking about is like, what can you throw to these hitters? Because they're able to handle everything, whether it's on the plate, off the plate, and you can't throw it on the plate. So it's just a tough situation.
The 1-0 actually caught the upper edge of the strike zone, so that circle visit that happened between Collazos and Orm worked for a strike, a ball and a strike. TJ and I spent most of the post games last week just laughing. I just don't really know what more we could have said. All right, Destiny and I as well. The 1-1, slow roller back to the circle. Orm will go to third. They'll cut down the lead runner. No throw as Lyons reaches on the fielder's choice. Yeah, on the radio side last week, our Bud Light post-game show with Destiny and I, DJ, was just laughing. It's like, what do we do? How do you stop this? But that was a good pitch right there from Orm to get Lyons.
Well, and that's about the only way you're going to get these hitters out. Just kind of talking about competitive misses. That was not a strike. It was not a strike, but she was able to get Lyons to chase and roll over. That's the only way that you're not going to be able to get, I mean, Sooner hitters, any good hitters, to not square the ball up.
Our player to watch today is Lindsey Elam, and understandably so. She has a chance to stake the Sooners to an early lead again, but this pitch misses high. Kudos to the crack research staff who came up with the numbers over the last 5 games for Lindsey Elam. 571 average with 6 home runs and 16 runs batted in over the last 5 games for the Sooner captain. Unbelievable. 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss on the rise.
I still stand by, if we put a ball on a tee, put the tee at second base, and told someone you have 10 swings to get 6 of them to leave the yard, I bet most people still couldn't do it. Just saying. I'm taking bets.
Huh? 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's the pitch to Elam. Almost hit her, 2-1.
And talking about Elam too, and just her overall athleticism and everything that she's been able to do behind the plate and really keep her spot in this lineup. I know Hansen's dealing with a little bit of coming off of an injury or whatever the case is. I know that Elam has really taken advantage of her chances and her opportunities, which is exactly what is needed for this lineup.
How about that? Line drive right side, but ranging over to make the catch is Watson. Ala wisely tags and takes third. Now the Sooners will need a 2-out hit to try to get a first inning run. By the way, Elam, as our player to watch, is brought to you by our good friends over at Polston Tax Resolution and Accounting. By the way, Rod Polston was up here with us yesterday. It was good to meet him and his family. Proud supporters of Oklahoma Sooner Athletics.
Wonderful people. We had a blast up here yesterday. It was awesome.
We were having between breaks debates, and
yes,
they were great. They were great, I guess you could say, company to hang out with.
Absolutely.
Here's Taylor Snow. Look at that batting average. That's not over the last 5 games. That's .509 for the season. First and third, 2 outs. Scoreless game. OU looking to strike first. Here's the pitch to Snow. Hard hit ball to short. Nice play by Binford. Throws across, inning over. Much like the first inning yesterday, the Sooners strand a couple. We head to the second. Oklahoma and Baylor are scoreless. Who else is here today? Sooner women's basketball coach Ginny Baranchek. In fact, her daughter Jordy, who's celebrating her birthday today, threw out the first pitch. Happy birthday, Jordy. Great to see Ginny Baranchek, an incredible first season as the OU women's basketball coach as they made the NCAA tournament. Hosted a high five from Patty Gasso as the first pitch is in for a strike to Josie Bauer to start things off here in the second inning. Along with Destiny Martinez and DJ Sanchez, I'm Chris Plank. Grant Wade is our producer today. Sooner Vision Studios. Josh Conant back in the franchise radio studios on this TV to radio simulcast as the 0-1 pitch misses high, a ball and a strike, which also affords us to have a pitching mind and eye in DJ Sanchez and a hitting fielding vibe mind of Destiny. We all can feel the vibe, right? Here's the 1-1 pitch, attempted bunt, threw it for a strike. So pretty cool to see the coaches supporting Coach Gasso in this squad. Bob Stoops here, as we mentioned. Ginny Baranchek and her husband, Scott. Jordy celebrating her birthday. It's hard to find a seat here at Marita Hines Field on this gorgeous Sunday. The 1-2 pitch is high, 2 balls and 2 strikes. And it's almost fitting, just to add one more point on this. Bob Stoops loved coming down here to throw out the first pitch. He would do it. He would do it every season he came down, and he loved to do it. He loves this softball team, and it's cool to see him here supporting this team. The 2-2, little low, ball 3.
I think it just goes back to, we talk a lot about the family atmosphere that Coach Gasso has put together in this program, but it's not just the softball program. It is the family atmosphere of this entire athletic department, and you feel it when you're here. You feel it when you're long gone, and it's an amazing thing to see and be a part of.
Swing and a miss. Jordy, or pardon me, Hope works the count full and gets the swing and a miss from Bauer for her 3rd strikeout of the game. Here's Aaliyah Binford. I see Poppy Jim Gasso has Bob Stoops' ear right now.
Uh-oh.
They're fixing all the world's problems, baby. 1 away. Here's Binford, probably hands down one of the more talented athletes in the Big 12. First pitch catches that outside corner for strike 1. The sophomore is hitting .345 on the season with 9 extra base hits, leads the team with 8 doubles, has also stolen 6 bases.
We saw her put together a pretty decent performance yesterday in the circle as that misses outside for a ball, but she really had the Sooners off balance a little bit, and then eventually started to figure her out, and she started to catch a little too much plate. But she put together, at the beginning, it took the Sooners some time to get her figured out yesterday.
The 1-1 pitch is fouled back, a ball and 2 strikes. I mean, it was a normal softball game. It was what most normal softball games are, where you have, a pitcher that is having some success. And then with that success, Oklahoma still won in run rule fashion in the 5th inning, which is wild. 1-2 pitch misses outside.
I was going to say, it was normal, but it was still a run roll.
Yeah.
This is
and that's what Chris and I were talking about last week, is the little mistakes. Coach, errors are unacceptable. We know that, but it happens. It's part of the game. And so we felt that if there was one error, it was like the end of the world.
Yes.
2-2 pitch misses in
and
ball
I'm telling
3.
Chris, this is normal. That's part of the game. Not acceptable. Coach Gasso definitely does not like those, but it's part of it. And so when we think of a normal softball game, it's like, if anything, outs, or the fact that there wasn't a home run yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been a minute since we've had a game like that. In fact, it was the last non-run rule game for the Sooners game against Utah. But I know, and DJ, it's one of the things you and I have been doing this together. Well, Destiny, all of us have been able to hang out and watch these games together for a while. I know how much you love seeing, though, manufacturing runs. That's a big deal as this season progresses. 3-2, swing and a miss. 5 straight Ks from Hope Troutwine, and there's 2 away.
Troutwine is dealing. That is her 5th strikeout in a row, and she is working all quadrants of the plate. Great curveball right there, getting the wave by Binford. Good pitch.
Kendall Cross will dig in. Cross from the left side of the plate takes the first pitch on that inside corner for a strike. No balls and a strike. 2 outs. Top of the second inning of a scoreless game. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. Let's get our Riverwind Casino keys to the game. DJ Sanchez, we'll start with you.
Expand the zone. And Troutwine is doing a great job of that right now. Baylor has been very aggressive since Friday into yesterday. They're coming out swinging again today.
0-2 pitch. There it is. Swing and a miss. It's like
Expand
you called it. Expand that zone. 6 straight strikeouts from Hope Troutwine. Riverwind still the 1. Baylor's shifted up their defense just a bit. We'll tell you about it after the first pitch here to start the second in a scoreless game to Jada Coleman. It's Orm rocks and fires. Caught the inside corner, or lower edge of the strike zone for strike 1. So Binford has moved to 3rd. They have brought in Selman to play short. Selman was their flex player yesterday. She hasn't hit yet this weekend, but she's been in the field quite a bit. 1-2, Jada Coleman caught that outside corner. A ball and a strike. Are we 0-2?
We are I think we're 0-2.
I think we're there we go. Okay, sorry. It's one of those few times when I actually remember the first pitch was a strike when I was going through these defensive changes. Cross is now at first. The outfield has stayed the same. The 0-2 misses outside, a ball and 2 strikes. Yeah, the scoreboard's just a skosh off here. It's not 2-1, it's 1-2.
And this is really where you would want to see Jada kind of step up and set the table, set the tone, put the ball on the ground. You see her kind of mixing up whether she's going to hit away or slap. I'd like to see her slap and make them throw her out and get them kind of jittery, get them anxious out there.
1-2 is up high, 2-2.
I completely agree. And one thing, you know, I know we've seen a couple games get a little bit of out of hand in run rules. Outside of a few throwing miscues on Friday from Baylor has been pretty solid defensively.
This goes back to what Destiny and I were talking about this weekend. You're playing an opponent that's not kicking it all over the field, and you're still putting run rule type scores up. Swing and a miss. Good pitch by Orm to retire Coleman, and there's 1 away.
I mean, Baylor, now they have struggled offensively. We would be naive to say otherwise, and they haven't had very timely hitting. In the circle, we've seen bright spots as we're seeing Orm is off to a good start today. We saw Binford have a little bit of success yesterday, but Baylor has defensively been relatively solid.
Agreed. Here's Alyssa Brito. Boy, speaking of players who had been on a tear, she had some kind of weekend at the Hall of Fame Classic. First pitch to Brito is up high. Scoreless game. We're in the bottom of the second inning, along with Destiny Martinez and DJ Sanchez. I'm Chris Plank. We got to get that weather. We got to brag about the Oklahoma weather. We'll do it after this 1-0 pitch to Brito, who steps in hitting .349 on the season, making her 20th start. 6 home runs, 20 runs batted in for Brito. Here's the 1-0. Pop fly on the infield. Ranging over is Selman, the shortstop, who just checked in to make the catch, and there's quickly 2 away, 4 straight retired by Orm. It is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous out as our weather is brought to you by the Trails Golf Club in Norman. 67 degrees, ramping up towards a high of 72. A little bit more wind than we had yesterday, blowing out of the north at 10 miles per hour. It is gorgeous, and it will continue to heat up as this day rolls on as Gianna Johns digs in. Learn more about the Trails Golf Club by visiting trailsgolf.com. Good golf weather.
It is. I was sitting here thinking, could I go get in 18 when the game's over?
Here's the first pitch to the Sooner third baseman. That just missed inside. John's .328 batting average on the season. Gianna yesterday in the 8-zip win went 0 for 2 against the Bears. Scored 2 runs despite going 0 for 2 in the Friday night game and made a spectacular defensive play in foul territory. Fouls this one back, a ball and a strike.
When we go back to that play yesterday, that game felt very tight. Baylor at times felt in control early in that game. And then Gianna Johns makes that diving play in foul territory. And then here come the Sooners putting 3 up on the board. I think it was a major shift in momentum. And I think back to that play, and I think back to Jada Coleman and the play at first base.
1 ball, 1 strike. Sooners need a little 2-out rally here. There's a line drive right at the second baseman West to end the inning. 3 up, 3 down for the Sooners in the second. 5 straight retired. Great start for Hope Troutwine. We're scoreless. 6 straight strikeouts, DJ. She's, what's the term you use? Expanding the zone. Oh, that was Destiny's, right?
No, she is, and she is doing a good job of hitting spots and giving no question strikes when she needs to. But then we are seeing these Baylor hitters chase outside of the zone, and what a great job Hope Troutwine has done so far in this first time through this Baylor lineup.
What adjustments, Destiny, do you think we see from the Baylor hitters here?
Yeah, I think they need to kind of be a little bit more decisive in the box. It's almost like they're chasing a little bit. She is throwing really well, but they are chasing far out of the zone. And like DJ said, expanding the zone is important to Hope, but it's not going to work for Hope if they're a little bit smarter in the box. So for them, I think they need to shrink the zone a little bit and not chase those pitches.
Quick 0-2 count now on Selman. This was Emery McDonough's spot in the lineup, but they quickly went to Selman, Campbell Selman off the bench, and replaced McDonough. And she's behind on the count, no balls and 2 strikes. The pitch. Oh my, 7th straight strikeout. Caught her looking on the inside corner. Hope Troutwine straight dealing DJ Sanchez.
She is, and I'm going to be honest here. 0-2. This is a dangerous pitch, and I think it was a little bit potentially of a miss, but she completely, just as Destiny says that these Baylor hitters need to show some discipline. I think they were expecting to see Troutwine well out of the zone and comes back in with the screwball.
Swing and a miss on the first pitch to Anna Watson, who, let's see, where has Watson been in the lineup for Baylor the first couple of games? Felt like she was sitting a little bit higher. Yeah, she was in the 7-hole yesterday as the 0-1 pitch just caught that outside. No, just missed that outside corner, ball and a strike. In the opener of this series, Watson was hitting in the 6-hole. She's looking for her first hit of the week. She's 0 for 3. 1-1. Wow, threw it right by. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Troutwine's working fast.
I mean, we are flying, and what, we're at 39 minutes of game time so far, if that.
Pitch, so got her. She committed on the bunt. Don't understand the procedure behind that attempt, Destiny, but on an 0-2 count, we'll take it for the 8th straight strikeout.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I don't fully understand why she went for a bunt with 2 strikes either. But it may have been a somewhat of like a punch slap.
Gotcha.
Which is what some slappers can do. But either way, she went for it and didn't connect.
First pitch is low and away to Mackenzie Wilson. Yes, shout outs. This 3rd inning is racing by, brought to you by Physical, spelled different because we are different. And our Trophy Club, which has been big time in helping make things easier for the student athletes this season. Soonersports.com/Trophy Club as the 1-0 is fouled back. Your commitment to the Trophy Club, your donations help the Sooners travel in style to Kentucky. First charter flight that the team has taken since a super regional. Let me tell you what, it made a difference for this entire week leading up. The 1-1, I guess that stayed up just a bit. I started to say it falls in, but our home plate umpire, Danny Bowman, was not having it. So check it out, Soonersports.com/Trophy Club. Let us know where you're listening from. Like Josh Reddick, who hurt us, DJ. He's checking in from the back 9
nice.
today. 2-1, swing and a miss, 2-2.
I'm sure he's well under par.
Absolutely. Must be. Has to be. Even if not, that foot wedge is a magical club you can break out. It's 2 strikes. Hope Troutwine just looking to mow through 9 straight Baylor hitters. The pitch just misses on that outside corner, ball 3.
I like that spot. 2-2. She's had a lot of success there. Wilson showing some good discipline, but I really like that spot low and away, about a ball off the plate.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Crowd comes together. The pitch fouled back. Wilson got a piece of it. Man, Doug Hamilton has already checked in from Broken Arrow. The Hendersons out at Osage State Park tuned in today. Oh, Ted and Ava, are you breaking out the lawnmower? Oh, no. Check out that golf cart. We just retweeted it at OU on the air. I can make some trouble in the neighborhood with a golf cart like that. I thought they were mowing. Not yet. Only man mowing a lot here is Scotty Black. 3-2, ball 4. That's the second walk of the game to Wilson, and it breaks a streak of 8 straight that were retired by Hope, all by strikeout. Here's Taylor Strain, who struck out her last time up.
And I think Wilson kind of did a really good job laying off the pitches that everyone else is kind of chasing. So hopefully she can maybe set the tone and show how many pitches and balls are coming at them that they need to lay off of.
First pitch, swing and a miss, strike 1 to Strain.
That really is. That's Troutwine's MO, right? Throwing those pitchers' pitches, and she gets you out. I mean, she's obviously very talented, but it's kind of one of those things as a hitter, you're like, I got myself out for swinging at a pitch that was not a good hitter's pitch.
0-1 just misses out, a ball and a strike. Fans did not like that call, in case you can't tell.
And that goes to the movement too. You know, in the box, from here where we're seeing Elam catch it, we're able to tell that whether or not it's far off the plate. But you know, it goes to show what her movement is like to the hitters, whether or not they can lay off of it. They're obviously seeing a lot of movement break at the last minute.
Runner goes. The throw down is in time. Inning over. Glenn Moore is going to challenge it, so let's wait just a second. All right, here's the problem with any challenge at second base. Oh, great. Yeah, that's not even.
Well, and the throw beater.
The umpire has an incredible angle on it. This is going to be a great angle here, I think.
And she did a great job going into the back of the base to make the tag as far as possible for Grace, but
the only Luis, is that Luis's camera? That is a great job, Luis. Fantastic job. It's just the hard part is there's that slight little blind spot. Our EVS operators on it. So yeah, I think she's got her just as her hand is in the air. And it's hard to tell. The umpire has great position. Yeah. Like if this call gets overturned, he may have to reevaluate some life decisions here. I mean, he's right on top of that. But I desperately needs today is the first pitch to Lou Donahue. He's in for a strike. With DJ Sanchez and Destiny Martinez, I'm Chris Plank. Grant Wade, our producer. Josh Conant on the radio side. Feel like you need Lou to get something started here in the third, DJ.
Yeah, we're looking, again, yesterday, we got a little bit of a spark from that play from Jana Johns. We need that spark from Mackenzie Donahue to get something rolling here offensively for the Sooners.
One pitch misses low, ball and a strike.
And I feel like this first time through the lineup, I mean, Orm started off with the single, the walk, and then worked out of a jam. And since then, she's really kind of found herself. She looks comfortable out there.
And she has struggled against Oklahoma.
She has.
Mightily. Twice. They hit her hard out in Hawaii, too. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Donahue. Breaks outside. I mean, Destiny on Friday night. Orm, 2 2/3. 6 hits, gave up 8 runs, and walked 4. So she's bounced back in a big way here today.
Yeah, and I think, DJ and I kind of discussed it over the break, that her sequence of pitches has not really changed very much. She's coming in at the hands, and then going out, and our hitters are trying to foul off, so they're getting themselves behind in the count, and then they're having to deal with an outside pitch that isn't necessarily a hitter's pitch. So I think for Donahue to kind of set the tone, she's got to be very selective and wait for something that she can actually work with.
2-1 pitch misses low, so it's 3 balls and a strike. As Lou looks to lead things off by flipping this lineup with a runner on base. She's got that left leg wiggling as she steps back and brings home the 3-1. Right down Lindsay, full count.
And I feel like that was a good hitter's pitch. 3-1.
I think Lou feels
we're sitting here
too.
talking about, and you can kind of see the frustration.
But just went silent, like, oh,
yeah,
that's the one. That is definitely the one.
Full count with Jennings waiting on deck. The pitch to Donahue. Bounce foul. Is Orm doing something a little bit more deliberate here? It just seems, not that she ever necessarily worked fast, but I know you're not going to make mechanical changes from a Saturday to a Sunday or a Friday to a Saturday, but seems as if she's just a little bit more deliberate with everything in the circle. I might be reading into it a bit, but
I feel like, Friday, she looked wide with all of her mechanics. It looked a little bit wonky, for lack of a better word.
3-2, misses ball 4.
And that's a good pitch. Great discipline by Donahue, but that's a good spot.
Right.
So I think she's just hitting her spots and throwing some quality pitches.
Getting caught up on some of those third inning shout outs. Oh, it's National Joe Day. So shout out to Joe Fournier, the great Joe Fournier who is listening. It's National Joe Day. Also, a big shout out to my man Jack, who is watching from Sentinel today. He also wants to know how hard the OU pitcher is thrown. These are very key questions, Jack. Where would you have Hope Troutwine about right now?
I think Hope is solid mid-60s.
Let's find out. First pitch to Jennings is hit pretty deep to center field at the warning track. The catch is made by Wilson, one away.
I'd say consistently between 63 and 66. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'd say 63, 64-ish.
Yeah.
I think when she comes up, it's probably a little bit quicker, but...
Let's find out. Let me text my source that I have and see if they'll share that information with us today. But just to give a shout out to the video crew, Whitley Simmons, who does a fantastic job with the video. Might remember Rayleigh Pogue, Sooner standout from the great city of Washington, Oklahoma. She is helping out on the analytics and the numbers side for the Sooners this year as a student assistant. First pitch to Alo is in for a strike. Scoreless game. Seems kind of odd to say that at this point with the way the Sooners have scored runs this season, but OU went in order in the second after stranding 2 runners in the first. Alo was walked. The 0-1 is up high 1-1. They'll throw behind Lou at first. She's back. Jeremy Wilson is watching in Muskogee. Christy McMurphy in Edmond. Bobby Spencer in Michigan. Redhead Sooner in Tishomingo watching with his dad today. The Overland Park Soccer Complex for Chris Emerson today, taking in Sooner softball. Here's the 1-1 pitch. This is outside, 2 balls and a strike.
It's where some of this discipline, going the second time through the lineup, making an adjustment with their pitch selection. That's a pitch that we have seen. I think we saw Grace Lyons swing at it. We've seen a couple others. Rollover ground balls, high-flying pop-ups. That pitch, if we can let that go as a ball, Orm is now going to have to come back on the plate.
2-1. Jossie couldn't hold her swing on a pitch that broke out of the zone.
And that's the pitch that she's coming back and having these hitters really either swing at and miss, or it's not a really good hit down to the opposite side of the field. But that's definitely the pitch that she wants them to chase. She's coming in, and then trying to drive them to swing at that.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Jossie is ready with Lou at first. Called strike 3 on the inside corner. Alo can't believe it. And there's 2 away. That's a really good pitch, though.
And I agree. I think that's a pitch that you definitely need to at least foul off. You can't just take that in with 2 strikes on the count.
I feel like it was a strike. Yeah. I mean, that's a strike all day.
I mean, definitely too close. You've got to foul it off or do something with it.
Here's Grace Lyons.
I'll give this to Orm. She's challenging. I mean, she is challenging Alo. She came out today, and I think we saw a walk in the first inning. But I'm not sure that it was intentional.
Nope. First pitch is up and in for a ball to Grace Lyons, who reached on a fielder's choice. And let's again give credit where credit is due. The Baylor Bears are making plays behind.
They are. And one thing Baylor has done, and again, it has not, you look at this, you look at the score at the end of the game, but one thing Baylor has done, I feel like throughout the series, is made adjustments. They haven't always come out to a win.
No. Runner goes. They're going to get her on the tag. Lou kind of tried to roll around the tag, and they tag her out anyway. There's your upcoming athletic events brought to you by Kincaid Coach Lines. First pitch to Taylor Strain is in for a strike, a bunted foul for a strike. She struck out her last time up. Official numbers between 66 and 68 miles an hour right now for Hope Troutline.
Right.
So you're right.
Nice.
Deal.
Right on.
Look at us.
Chew. That's DJ Sanchez along with Destiny Martinez. I'm Chris Plank. 0-1 pitch is up high for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike on a scoreless game here in the top of the 4th inning. Game 3 of the weekend for the Sooners. They've got a midweek against Wichita. We'll talk about that in the road ahead before a non-conference weekend against UAB. 1-1 swing and a foul tip just out of the mid of Elam. 1-2. Well, a couple of other quick check-ins. Our man Jimmy Akers checked in from Duncan. No, where are you at? You in Duncan or Durant today, Jimmy? Speaking of that, Monty and Jamie are cheering in from Durant. Devin Dan in Maysville. Cheryl Glass, Hurst in Cushing, Oklahoma. The 1-2 pitch misses outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. From Stigler to Quapaw, Oklahoma to Picayune, Mississippi. Lawton, Prague, you name it, they're tuned into Sooner softball today. Thanks for making us part of your Sunday afternoon. See if Troutwine can get another K here. She fouls this one back, does Strain. Strain's been a bit of a problem this weekend, DJ. She's hit the ball well.
And we haven't seen a ton of offensive production from Baylor, but Wilson, Strain, they have at times put Baylor in a situation to get some runs on the board. And again, we have not seen Baylor take advantage of those opportunities, but Strain has shown some good at-bats consistently all weekend.
Troutwine brings home the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Well, if it was foul tipped, it was caught by Elam. Give strikeout number 9 to Hope Troutwine, and there's 1 away in the 4th. That popped out of the middle. Then Elam turned around and made the catch.
Call those delayed strike calls.
She really stuck with it.
I don't think I've ever seen that before. I've seen a foul tip hit a mitt and just die into the dirt, but that thing hit the mitt and popped up.
That's not easy with that mask going.
Elam's a stud. First pitch is a strike to Casey West, who struck out in the 1st. I like this from Billy Poplin at OU on the air. He tweets at us and says, Sooner runs are like grapes. They come in bunches.
I do like that.
There you go.
Should be a big 4th inning there if Billy's right. 1 pitch is fouled back off the netting. And quickly, Hope Troutwine ahead, no balls and 2 strikes.
And she has been ahead this entire game. I mean, looking at the strikeout numbers, she has struck out 9. You aren't striking out 9 hitters working behind in counts and working your way back to that strikeout. She is absolutely dealing, hitting some great spots.
The 0-2 just misses.
And speaking of great spots, that's another great spot. 0-2 down and away, about 2 balls off the plate.
She's been dealing so far today. Ahead on the count, 1-2, the pitch, fouled back. Baylor's had Mackenzie Wilson on twice. She walked in the 1st, walked in the 3rd. Outside of that, Hope Troutwine is giving the Sooner defense essentially a day off.
They earned it after yesterday.
I know. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The pitch fouled off again. This one's going to get over the grandstands here at Marita Hines Field. Wind starts to whip in center field a bit, blowing those flags and maybe a little out towards left field. Troutwine's ready to pitch. Ground ball to first. The Sooners are going to make a play. Snow grabs it, steps on the bag. That's the first force out, put out, throw out by a Sooner defender this game. And it comes on a ground out to first. There's 1 away. Breaks a streak of 9 straight outs by way of the K.
And just looking at some of these stats for Baylor, they're not a home run hitting team, so it's so important for them to be able to find pitches that they can hit hard on the ground and apply some pressure to this OU defense. I think that that's one thing that they're going to have to really figure out is how to hit the ball on the ground or hard through somebody.
I got to correct myself, too, because I forgot Elam threw out the runner to end the 3rd inning. The delay lasted so long on the replay that I forgot about that. So 9 of 10 outs by strikeouts for Hope Troutwine. First play by a fielder, so I stand behind that. The 1-0 pitch is popped up. Foul territory. Snow diving. Did she get it? No. Right in front of the Baylor bench, Taylon Snow went full send and almost made the play.
Tremendous effort by Taylon, just getting there, finding the fence, trying to reach for it. Great effort.
Great job on the third base over the Sooner dugout camera, catching that angle. Sydney Collasos behind on the count now, or even up on the count, not a ball and a strike. Bauer waiting on deck. That 1-1 goes right out of the zone. 2 balls and a strike.
One thing for Baylor, too, I mean, 9 strikeouts. I'm still sitting here trying to wrap my head around the fact that we just had a ball put in play for an out in the 4th inning, but how defeating it is.
Yeah.
You know, with strikeouts like that.
2-1 misses low, 3 balls and a strike.
I mean, if you're hitting things hard, you're going, okay, we aren't getting there, but we got this. Something's going to fall. We're going to break through. But when it's just K after K after K, it's a different, I mean, that breaks your spirit a little bit.
Yeah. And even it's varied so much. Some people are chasing at the high one, some are chasing low. So it's hard to even get a grasp. Oh my gosh, I can't speak. Grasp.
You're turning into me. What's wrong with you, Destiny?
Grasp of her sequence. And so, you know, normally hitters will be in the box and kind of identify what's going on and be able to share with their teammates. But there's been so many hitters that are chasing different things that she's not really in a set sequence either.
So a walk to Collasos, and now Josie Bauer will step in. This is the first base runner not named to Mackenzie Wilson for Baylor today, and the first pitch is in for a strike. Wilson had walked in the first, walked in the 3rd, then was caught stealing. Collasos walks here with Bauer stepping to the plate. Struck out in the second inning. No balls and a strike here. Scoreless game. The pitch is popped up, foul territory. That's going to get out of play. Nearly a great catch in the stand. Popped off a hand. Thought it might ricochet to another fan. Now the great ball exchange takes place. Looked like there was a lot of finger pointing there.
I was going to say, that was someone else's fault, from what I could tell.
Yeah, that was someone getting in the way. The 0-2 misses high, ball and 2 strikes. If you're coming out to Marita Hines Field when you catch a foul ball, you give back a game ball and you get, what, a replica ball is it that they're handing out, it seems like, this year?
Such a cool idea.
Very cool idea. You use that softball to get autographs from the players after the game. The 1-2, fouled straight back. They stayed out late yesterday afternoon, signing as many as they possibly could. It was awesome to see. While I was leaving.
They didn't ask for yours?
No, I was good. I've got my pass. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Runner at first with 2 outs. Troutwine deals. Called strike 3 on the outside corner. Hope Troutwine just got a little adversity. Said, I needed to get a runner on base. Who ended things in the 3rd. She'll lead off here in the 4th. First pitch, just a little out, ball 1. Along with DJ Sanchez and Destiny Martinez, I'm Chris Plank. Grant Wade, our producer on the TV side. Josh Conant on the radio side. 1 ball and no strikes. Lyons waits. Orm brings it home. Caught that outside corner. Grace was the hero here yesterday. Her walk-off gave the Sooners the run rule win. I mean, perfectly placed based on where Wilson was positioned and Watson in right field. The celebration was on as the Sooners with the walk-off run rule, which is even kind of unique this season, to be honest with you. Here's the 1-1 to Lyons, a little low, 2 balls and a strike.
I like that the Sooners are being challenged. I mean, I'm sorry to say it, but as the season continues to go on, and I hope that I get proved wrong, not every game is going to be a blowout. There are going to be, and there have been a few this season already, but especially as we get deeper into Big 12 play, get into the postseason, this team needs to be battle tested.
Right. No, I agree. I think in last week we talked about how many games and innings that they're truly missing based off of all of the run rules. So we were at, what, 6 games last week, so it's got to be closer to 7. Maybe 7 now. But that's a lot of innings that you're not being challenged, or you're not being able to have different opportunities and different situations come. And I think that, you know, this is good for them. They need this.
3 balls and a strike. The pitch. Ground ball to short. Easy play for Selman up, and there is 1 away. Lindsey Elam will stride to the plate. Well, in a sport where the more times you get to see a pitcher, usually your hitting numbers increase, DJ Sanchez, it says something about Dariana Orm that here today, the Sooners have just 1 hit, and it came in the first inning against a pitcher that they had put 6 runs on the board against, 6 earned runs on the board against on Friday night.
I mean, what a difference. And I know that Orm had a tough outing out in Hawaii against the Sooners as well.
First pitch swinging. Elam line drive, right field, caught. Down the right field line by Watson. And quickly there's 2 away, and as Taylon Snow steps to the plate, well, probably see the Sooners slow this down just a bit.
I think one thing that we're kind of missing is that spark. There's no, I don't feel energy. I don't feel a lot coming out of the dugout or the spark. I think that that's something the Sooners have been missing since we started.
First pitch to Taylon Snow is in for a strike. It's a good point. I mean, it's a little quiet in that dugout right now. Maybe since a little bit of a need to kind of rile up the troops here. Maybe a 2-out base hit from Taylon Snow could do just that. The 0-1 is in for a strike, and quickly she's behind on the count, 0-2.
And this is important for them to face as well, just energy-wise. I know Coach Gasso says, you know, they're maybe 6-7 range out of a 10, and when you're facing a pitcher who's kind of shut you guys down for 4 innings straight and your energy is a little bit low, that's something that you need to be a little bit more familiar with and really work on that.
0-2 pitch misses low. A ball and 2 strikes. Scoreless game. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. This game is cooking along. An hour and 14 minutes in, and we're headed, well, let's not get too over our skis here. Still in the bottom of the 4th inning. I want to quite get this game to the 5th yet. Let's see Taylon Snow do something with 2 outs. The 1-2 pitch. Nope, swing and a miss, inning over. Third baseman in this scoreless game, a swing and a miss to start things off to Leah Binford. But, I mean, Destiny Martinez anymore in college softball, it's tough to transfer and acclimate yourself as quickly as Jana Johns has. But she's taken over as the starting third baseman since coming in from South Carolina, and she's just been solid.
She has been so fun to watch. I mean, she is an absolute wall at third base. And so for somebody to be able to come in from a different program and step up and be able to work with Coach Gasso and be the player that she is, and we all know here in the booth, Coach Gasso hits rockets at her third baseman.
Yes.
So that's a tough position to transition to. So being able to leave a program, step in and feel right at home. I mean, she's done a tremendous job. I've loved watching her play.
Very smooth over there, too, DJ. As it counts, no balls and 2 strikes here to Binford.
I mean, she's a vacuum. I mean, anything that gets hit to the left side of the field, you feel good about it. It's just, I love the consistency we see from her. You never see her have an off day.
0-2 pitch misses low. So the Sooners will have kind of unique in that they give each senior a day, a full game to celebrate their career. So today we celebrate Jana Johnson. We'll celebrate Hope Troutwines too. She's having a career kind of day here as the 1-2 is fouled off. The redshirt seniors or super seniors on this team, there's 5 of them. Taylor Snow, Hope Troutwine, Jocelyn Allo, obviously Jana Johns, and Lindsay Elam are the 5. Did I say super seniors, right? Redshirt seniors?
Yes.
There you go. The 1-2. Swing and a miss on the rise. My goodness, Hope Troutwine is dealing here today. 11th strikeout by my count.
That pitch came in well over Binford's head. Started out of the zone, finished out of the zone. And just, again, seeing Troutwine expand the zone, and Baylor is yet to make an adjustment.
I think one of the harder things of laying off a rise ball is when it starts a little bit higher at your eye.
Like it's going to sit flat.
Yeah.
Kendall Cross, the first baseman, digs in and takes the first pitch inside for ball 1. I failed to miss a couple of things. Just, we get so many shout outs here every single game, and I appreciate them all. And we've tried to keep them to 1 inning, but I want to do them all game long. And Grant Wade says you can't. Fight there at every commercial break. As the 1-0 pitch is right. Somewhere for ball 2. Shouts out to our man Jeffrey Simmons listening in down in the Fort Worth area. We brag a lot about Whitley, the video coordinator for the Sooners. That's her fan.
And Whitley's amazing.
She is awesome. She came in here to give me grief during commercial breaks. You can ask Destiny. The 2-0 pitch is in for a strike. I get grilled by Whitley Simmons on a regular basis during a broadcast more than anyone.
A little fireball.
Yeah,
she
lets
sits
me know.
in the corner, but she will let him know.
There is nobody that keeps me grounded more than Whitley Simmons. Kelly Palmer is checked in. Ralph watching the game in Owasso. The 2-1 is on that outside corner, 2-2. And how about this one? Todd and Shelley are watching today from Puerto Rico.
Ooh.
Nice.
On the beach?
We've had a few people that have actually checked in from the beach, which I'm a little bit jealous of. We're getting beach-like weather here today. The 2-2 pitch is lifted pretty deep to right field at the warning track. Brito makes the catch, and there's 2 away. Cross got under that and hit it a long way. Thankfully, it wasn't too long. Brito right up against the wall makes the catch, and there's quickly 2 outs here in the 5th.
Saw a little bit of life out of I mean, I know it was an out for Baylor, but that's some of the most life we've seen out of that Baylor dugout today. We've seen strikeout after strikeout, and then Cross finally squaring something up, giving that Baylor, again, strikeouts are disheartening. You see solid contact, you start to go, okay, we're starting to figure this out.
First pitch is low for a ball.
And I think an approach that Baylor can have, or maybe should adopt, is to make her throw a strike first. I haven't, and not that she's not capable, like she's a great pitcher, she's getting them to chase, but when you get in the box and you don't make her throw you a good pitch, you get in the habit of chasing.
I agree. I'd be curious to know if they are saying, hey, you need to take till you get a strike.
Take it till you get a strike.
And
1 ball, 1 strike. The pitch is a, I didn't mean to, check swing foul. By the way, kudos to the entire event grounds crew. Craig Moore, Joel did a big job. We had the netting falter here a little bit yesterday. They stayed up here late yesterday making sure it got back to where it needed to be. The 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Stop it, Hope Troutwine, stop it. The 12th strikeout of the game for Hope as we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. Oklahoma and Baylor are scoreless. Innings presented by Coca-Cola. It's back to work for Orm, who's been pretty fantastic here today for Baylor. Has only allowed 1 hit, and the first pitch to Coleman misses low. Coca-Cola, no matter your favorite meal, it'll pair perfectly with the Coke. Coca-Cola, official partner of the Oklahoma Sooners. Keep the stat line. Dariana Orr, 4 innings, 1 hit, struck out 3, walked just 2, and has only thrown 52 pitches in 4 innings. 1-0. This is outside 2-0.
Still feel like, and Destiny, you spoke about this earlier, but waiting for that spark from the Sooners. I mean, we're yet to see it. We haven't seen some real tremendous at-bats from the Sooners either.
And I think if it's going to happen, it needs to be from Jada Coleman.
Yes.
Just the fireball that she is. I think she can really set a spark right now.
2-0, showed a bunt, takes a strike. And Cross saw it immediately and came charging down from first base. Binford has been playing third. We've seen Aaliyah Binford in the circle. We've seen her play short. She's at third today because Collasos is behind the plate. She is versatile. Had a pretty nice outing through 3 innings yesterday. See if the Sooners just needed that 5th inning to wake them up. Here's the 2-1 to Coleman. Caught that outside corner, 2-2.
Definitely not a pitch that she could work with. I think that if she's wanting to really do something and kind of set the tone, play small ball, that's something that they haven't had to do. You know, we're used to the long ball, and putting Jada in a position where she can really work the dirt, that's not a pitch that she's able to do that with.
See the JJ on the hat of Patty Gasso. We've talked about it. We'll go more in depth here in the bottom half, or excuse me, the top half of the 6th, if we play a top half of the 6th.
Yes, I like your style.
Remembering the great Joan Joyce, who passed away, a legend in this sport. And obviously a trailblazer for not just the sport of softball, but female sports as well. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Jada Coleman. That's a little out, ball 3, but a good pitch.
Good at bat by Jada Coleman. She's seeing a lot of pitches. Orem has had success all day hammering the inside part of the plate and then working away, and the Sooners have fell right into her plan, rolling over, hitting weak ground balls. So it's good to see Coleman laying off of that pitch and working the count and working deep into the count.
Here's the 3-2 pitch to Jada. Pops it foul down the left side and out of play.
You could see that second baseman, West, is really shifted over to the actual base, which is only telling us that they're going to keep pounding that outside corner.
Good catch. Yeah, they out in center field. Wilson is shaded slightly towards left center field as well. That right center field gap is wide open. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Jada. Ball 4. She's fired up.
And that's the spark you need. It's exactly what we want out of Jada Coleman. Just find a way to get on. That's what the team needs right now. Be smart in the box, have great pitch selection, and be the spark on the way to first base.
Boy, she was letting him know, too, jogging down that first base line. So this will be for the Sooners as Brito digs in. If they can turn the lineup over, their 3rd time through the lineup, and that's where things really started to explode yesterday against Binford.
And with the same spark plug in Jada Coleman.
That's right.
Jada Coleman, and we saw the first, I think, overturned call, right,
yeah,
that we've seen from a challenge, but here comes Jada Coleman with the leadoff walk.
First pitch to Brito shows bunt, bunts it foul. And here's where, just one note on Jada, where she kind of has to be careful. She has been dinged twice in both games we did this week in Destiny, leaving the bag early.
Yeah, and I think that's just a she's gonna have to be smart over there. The way that she leads off is a little bit deceptive because that left foot stays on, but her right foot is moving, and I think that's a little deceptive. But the one I know for sure was the right call.
There's a hard bunt to third. They're going to go to second and throw it away. Backing it up is Wilson in center field. Brito may have bunted it a little bit too hard, but with Jada Coleman from first to second, it's a dangerous throw to begin with.
And that's exactly what you want to see out of the offense. Just execute your job. You need to move runners in this situation when you're in the bottom of the 5th. 0-0 ball game. You have to be able to move your runners, and Brito did a very good job getting that ball on the ground.
It may have been the right play, though, DJ, watching that replay.
I'm watching it on the replay. I think a good throw had her. I do, and it would have been bang, bang. But applying pressure to a defense, and we're yet to see the Sooners do it. Baylor has been solid defensively, and except, again, throwing errors have been their Achilles heel defensively a little bit this weekend.
Coach Gasso playing a little small ball, though. Johns will pull back and then will commit to the bunt. I'm going to say she actually did offer at it. Yeah, there you go, strike one.
And to your point, DJ, Binford may have had her, but I feel like that's something to just be a little bit more aware of. When you have Jada Coleman, you have to beat Jada Coleman on a ball that you're coming in for to turn around and throw to second. With Jada on, I just almost think you got to go where your body's taking you, which would have been first base.
Yes, absolutely.
Here's the 0-1 pitch to Johns. Let's see if she's still bunting. She is, and popped it up. Caught one away. And Lou Donahue will come to the plate with one out. Oh, that's not something that will bring a smile to Coach Gasso's face. Just had that bat head drop.
And I think, obviously, Orm is able to identify that they're trying to play small ball. You're going to see a lot of balls go up. She's going to be throwing that rise ball over and over until we make an adjustment to get the ball on the ground.
You know, this is a moment now as Glenn Moore makes his way to the circle to talk to his infield. And our circle visits this season are brought to you by Walden's Cleaner and Laundry, where the difference is quality. This Baylor team has been a hard scout this year. And again, you might say, well, does it seem that way whenever the Sooners have won 9-8 or 9-1 and 8-zip, and it's a 17-12 team. But you look at some of the games they've played against big-time opponents. You know, they beat Oregon earlier this season at Getterman Stadium, and then lost the next two games. One very competitive, and one they got blown out. They played a tight game, a high-scoring game with Oregon State. They played UCLA tight this season. But then there's games where, like, whoa, they lost to Texas A&M Corpus Christi, and they had a scratch and claw to beat Prairie View A&M. It's a team where their highs have been pretty high so far this year. So it's no surprise they're giving the Sooners all they can handle. And Lou will look to try to get the party started here late as the first pitch is in for a strike.
And I feel like part of some of that, you know, almost roller coaster for Baylor, they have 8 underclassmen in the lineup right now. When Orm's in the circle, you know, they only have 2 upperclassmen, 1 senior. And unlike, you know, some of what we see from the last year, what we saw from the freshmen at OU, and that was such a big deal. And a lot of them are sophomores now. That is not, it's not normal. And that word's been tossed around a lot today.
Oh, one misses low, 1 ball and 1 strike.
But it's true, it's not. I mean, usually you are seeing what Jordy Ball is doing as a freshman is not normal.
Right.
You usually see these freshmen take their lumps, and I think Baylor is feeling some of that. Positive for that is next year, following year, I think we're going to see Baylor kind of have a resurgence nationally.
Yeah.
First and second, Brito at first, Coleman at second. The 1-1 pitch with 1 out to Lou, misses inside, ball 2. The last time, this stat courtesy of our man Patrick Dunn, that the Sooners didn't score through 4 innings, March 12th of 2021 against UMKC. They responded by coming out after a rain delay and put up 5 runs in the 5th inning. See if they can match it here in a scoreless game, bottom of the 5th. Good hitters count here for Donahue. The 2-1. Wild pitch to the backstop. Off to third goes Coleman. Brito in at second. They're going to check and see if Donahue swung. She did not, so the count's 3-1. That's a little check offering from Donahue. Induced the wild pitch. That Sooner dugout has come to life a bit as Donahue waits on the 3-1 pitch. Orm brings it home. Hard hit ball, foul down the first baseline. Kristen Zaleski, the Sooner volunteer assistant coach, makes the play. It's been a bit of a rough start for Lou this season, but she's starting to hit the ball better recently. In fact, it started this weekend, Destiny,
she
with
had a good weekend last weekend
at Oklahoma City's Hall of Fame Stadium.
What an opportunity here. I want to see Lou play the game. We've got one out. Opportunity to take the ball to the right side of the field with Jada Coleman's speed at third. Sacrifice fly, so many different ways to get this job done.
You see the defense really tight in. She could get it through a gap.
Yes.
So we need to see here.
Full count pitch from Orm. All 4 bases loaded on a pitch that Orm just missed on. And the bases are loaded for the Sooners without a hit here in the 5th. OU still only has 1 hit, but have loaded the bases here in the 5th. Coleman at third, Brito at second, Donahue at first, and that was a close pitch. Little up. Jennings has the only Sooner hit, and it came in the first at bat of the game. See if Tiare can't spark this run-scoring offense, and first pitch is popped up behind home plate. Little help, catch is made by Binford, and there's 2 outs. Here's Ala.
And I think for Jennings, I think this is something where she needed to kind of settle in a little bit longer. I think taking that first pitch was probably not the best thing to do, obviously. But, you know, I think getting settled in and making Orm throw as much as possible right now in this situation. There was 1 out. I would have liked to see Jennings take a couple pitches before
Sooners.
after it.
I'm sorry, Destiny.
No,
the Sooners have gone 18 straight plate appearances without a hit. Their last hit came again from Jennings, leading this game off. But you couldn't ask for a better situation here, though there are 2 outs for Alo. First pitch, little out, ball 1. Orm not happy with that call, I think is the best way to put it, DJ.
Yeah, it's a good spot, but it's not a strike. And here's the thing, it hasn't been a strike all day.
Yep. It's not as if it just changed. 1 ball, no strikes. This game is scoreless. We're the bottom of the 5th. But the bases are loaded for Oklahoma, and Jocelyn Alo is at the plate. The 1-0 to Alo. Line shot, right field, trouble if it's fair, but it's foul as it bounces into the corner. Good piece of hitting there on a pitch that was low and away. But just foul.
We've talked so much about, and I think we've talked about it a ton this weekend, Plank, about what a complete hitter Alo is.
Yeah.
You know, I think everyone's sitting here going, grand slam, grand slam. She's liable to lay something down the line, put a flare into a gap. It's just who she is. It's what she does.
Here's the 1-1 pitch to Alo. Checked her swing. They'll throw behind the runner at first. She's safe. Are they going to call that a strike? Because it was up in the zone. The catcher threw behind Lou at first. Oh, yeah, they're going to call it a strike. They checked with a third base umpire. He said she went. I'll tell you what, I don't know if I've ever seen a third baseman playing deeper than Binford is at third right now.
Not a lot of space between her and the grass.
Wow. Same at short for Selman. Now Alo's got to go with 2. This Baylor dugout is starting to get some life. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. The celebration is on from Collasos behind the plate. Hope Troutwine has been fantastic, DJ Sanchez, in this scoreless game as we head to the 6th. 12 strikeouts, and she's done it in every way possible.
Tell you what, she has these Baylor hitters fooled. They are chasing pitches outside of the zone over and over, but that rise ball has been killer, getting all kinds of swing throughs.
First pitch, that a screwball for strike 1. My goodness. And it's a challenge, Destiny, for the hitters, too. She is pounding the zone here.
Yeah, and we talked about it a little bit I feel like the right approach for Baylor would be to make her throw strikes.
Yeah.
You know, sit in there and make her throw. And I say that, and the first pitch was a strike. But, you know, I think that's where the challenge is. And honestly, it's on both sides of the field. OU is swinging at a lot of bad pitches. And that's what's making these pitchers so successful, causing a 0-0 ball game.
The 1-1 is a hard bunt foul. Anna Watson 0 for 1 for the weekend. She struck out in her only plate appearance in the third. She bats here in the sixth of a scoreless game. Belated third inning shout out to Lisa Jean, our friend in Tulsa, celebrating her birthday with us today. She was a day oneer for Sooner softball. You won't find many more diehard fans. Swing and a miss as the 1-2 is absolutely a perfectly placed pitch to strike out Watson. 13th strikeout of the game for Troutwine.
This is such a huge at-bat, and we see the rise ball again getting chased, but coming off of that huge momentum killer with the strikeout of Ala with bases loaded, and then here comes Troutwine getting the K as we roll back to the top of that Baylor lineup. That was a huge, huge, huge out.
And the first pitch to Mackenzie Wilson is in for a strike. Wilson is one of 3 base runners that Baylor has had today. She's done it twice. Walked in the first, walked in the third, and was thrown out trying to steal in that third inning. Here's the 0-1. Pop foul down the left side, out of play. I don't want to. Maybe I'll try to do some jinxing here. Baylor was the last team to beat Oklahoma in Big 12 play here in Marita Hines Field. That came on April 23rd of 2017. Sooners lost it 4-3. Here's the 0-2 pitch, low and away, 1 ball, 2 strikes. They haven't lost a Big 12 home game since, which is a pretty incredible run if you think about it. They're being challenged here today. They lost in 16 at home to Kansas, then lost at 17 at home to Baylor in Big 12 play, and haven't lost at home since in Big 12 play. The 1-2, allowed 2 balls and 2 strikes. Overall, the Sooners lead the series 69 wins to 13 losses against the Bears. 2 balls and 2 strikes. In fact, that was the last win the Baylor Bears had over OU. Here's a line drive to right center field, and it's trouble. It's down, it's to the wall. Coleman plays it off the wall, but Wilson is in with a 1-out double on the first hit of the game for Baylor, and it comes here with 1 out in the top of the 6th inning. And Baylor has a runner in scoring position for the 2nd time today, first time since the 1st inning.
Wilson has been a problem for the Sooners all weekend, and we're yet to see her come around and score because, again, Baylor has not had any timely hitting this weekend, but Wilson has been the one constant in this Baylor lineup who has been able to find a gap. That's her 2nd double of the weekend.
Yeah, she's 4 for 7 this week, and the bunt is a bad one, foul off the bat of Strain for strike 1.
From what I've seen from Wilson today, her pitch selection is really good. And I think that pitch that she was able to get a hold of was honestly, I feel like, a miss from Troutwine. She left that up and in, hanging.
Wilson made her pay. The 0-1, another bunt attempt, this one better. Johns bobbles it. Everybody's safe. The runner's going to take off for second. No. Strain thinks better of it. Johns came in. Maybe that ball could have rolled foul. She didn't feel like risking it, had the play. And Strain reaches and advances Wilson to third, and now the Sooners have a 1st and 3rd situation with 1 out here in the top of the 6th inning. That is concerning. Now, that thing wasn't going foul, was it? She had to make that play.
Yeah, and I think her approach to the ball could have been a little bit different. She kind of went for the backhand, but if you're throwing on the run and trying to get that out at first, you want to keep your body in front of it.
Well, we have all kinds of meetings going on. Lindsey Elam has gone out to the circle and brought the entire infield together. Glenn Moore brought his hitter Casey West and had a quick little conference with Strain as well. I haven't put the official ruling yet up on Strain.
That's an error.
Yeah, I think so too.
I am curious to see how Glenmore plays this. Baylor is an aggressive team on the base paths. However, Lindsay, every stolen base attempt Baylor has had this weekend has been an out. But I'm curious first and third what his game plan is, because usually we see runners in motion from Baylor.
Is indeed ruled an error. The squeeze bunt is on and it's fouled back. Kind of looked like more of a safety squeeze there with minimal motion from Wilson down that third baseline, and it's strike one. So E5 puts runners at first and third. Watching the rotation of Sooner defenders on a play like that is poetry in motion. Got to worry about the runner taking second. Third baseman charging. The 0-1 is a little out. 1 ball, 1 strike. Casey West grounded out to first her last time up. A ground ball to first here could set up a play at the plate. Scoreless game, top of the 6th inning. What a day it's been for the pitchers. And this is the best threat Baylor has had all game long. There's a fly ball to right field. This should score a run. Tagging the throw from Brito is offline, on time, but sliding in safely is Wilson. The sac fly scores the first run of the game. Strain takes second. And here in the top of the 6th inning, Baylor strikes first on a sac fly RBI. Thanks to a 1-out double. Oh, Patty Gasso, is she going to challenge whether or not the runner left early from third? No. She walked over and said something to the third base umpire. I wonder if those conversations are, how sure are you were watching the bag?
And I think that kind of goes back to just making the defense make plays. That Baylor's doing a good job of making, you know, Jana Johns had a tough play that she needed to make, or we wouldn't be in this situation. And for Brito to be able to make that play at home, when you got Wilson on base, that's a lot of speed that you're going to have to throw out. So just by putting the ball in play and making the defense work, you're going to see some results.
Sydney Collasso digs in and takes the first pitch up for a ball. So a runner now at second with 2 outs. Sooners trailed 1-0 in the 6th. The pitch caught that inside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. It's still wild to think that Baylor was able to produce a run without a hit with a runner in scoring position. Neither team has a hit with a runner on base today. Baylor and OU will combine 0 for 13 as the 1-1 misses low, 2-1.
I think we go back to Destiny and talking about applying pressure. Baylor has done it in this inning, and it has worked out beautifully. Now, that error is going to be discussed.
Right.
You know, but again, we talked about this, I believe, at the beginning of the game. They happen.
Yeah.
And as rare as it is for the Sooner team.
Popped up on the infield, Snow shielding the sun, makes the catch, ends the inning. Sooner bats got to get going. Baylor strikes first. As the first pitch to the right-handed hitting Grace Lyons, who's 0 for 2 on the game, heads home for more. And it's in for a strike.
That was 2 years ago.
Yes.
A lot has changed in 2 years.
It's amazing. I think the part of me today that is the most surprised is watching what Orm's done and knowing the amount of success that Oklahoma has had against her. The sophomore. You know, 1 pitch is popped foul down the right side, and quickly she's behind on the count. No balls and 2 strikes. Transferred in did Orm from Fresno State. And Oklahoma really battered her around the first time they faced her. She only lasted an inning. Sooners scored 6 runs in that inning on her. 5 runs in that inning against her. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Line shot down the first base line, just foul.
I'm going to go with this. On a day that we've kind of talked about a little bit in kind of the honoring of Joan Joyce and her legacy, I love that we are seeing a 1 hit on both sides pitchers duel. That's what I'm going to say about it.
I like it. On Friday night here, in 2 2/3 of an inning, she gave up 6 hits, 8 runs, 7 of them were earned. Here today, the Sooners have had 1 hit through 5 innings. And that came with the leadoff batter of the game. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Grace Lyons. Good pitch. Lions maybe helped to lean back to get the call.
I love Orm and her fearlessness. I mean, that's a tough pitch to throw in this count.
She threw a screwball to Alo back in the 3rd inning to get her looking for the K that I went, that was a gutsy pitch right there.
Here's the 1-2 to Lions. Reached for it, grounded softly to short. Selman up, throws, out at first. Here's Elam. Sooners trailing 1-0, win the 6th.
We're yet to see an adjustment, and kind of watching Grace Lyons and her at bats. Same thing, 6-3, 6-3, kind of chasing that outside pitch, waving at a pitch that is not a strike, and trying to pull it as opposed to taking it. I'd be curious to know how many walks we would have seen today with a little bit more disciplined at bats.
And the number of pop-ups that we've seen goes to show that they're swinging at a lot of bad pitches.
Yes.
Elam digs in. She's 0 for 2 on the day. A deep fly out to right field her first time up, and takes the first pitch up and in for a ball.
I think another thing that kind of shows Orm has walked 4 batters today, and we're in the 6th inning. It just kind of shows how little she really is hitting the plate. But, against a team like this, I think that's been the question, is how do you throw to these to this OU lineup? Well, you don't throw on the plate.
You can't.
Yeah. But, what we usually see, though, is having to come back onto the plate because we see discipline.
1-0 is up and in for a ball. 2-0 to Elam.
Yeah. And on both sides of the field, I think that's what has been lacking the whole game is discipline in that batter's box.
Heard a little roar from the crowd as the home plate umpire, Danny Bowman, checked down at first. Leah Bowen-Dom, who said that Elam did not swing on the pitch that was up and in. High drama here in Norman. Sooners down 1-0, bottom of the 6th inning. 1 away. Here's the 2-0 to Elam. Popped up right side, slicing away from and out of play as Watson, the right fielder, crossed from first, and West went chasing from second.
I love Elam's aggressiveness, and there's no one in the Sooner lineup who is seeing the ball better right now than Lindsay Elam. But I will say 2-0, I like the aggressiveness, but I don't think that pitch was a strike.
No, and that's the pitch that she's getting a lot of hitters on. Their timing is not adding up to the pitch that they're choosing to swing at. They're really early on an outside pitch that's down, and that's all you can do is kind of boot it down the line.
The 2-1 popped up, shallow left field, racing in and making the catch is Strain, and there's 2 away. Taylon Snow will bat here with 2 outs, and the Sooners down a run. Jada Coleman waits on deck. Snow is 0 for 2, grounded out to short in the first, struck out in the 4th. Sooners have gone 21 straight plate appearances without a hit. First pitch to Nieners is bounced towards third. What a play by Binford. Throws, inning over.
Pitching on both sides. Hope Troutwine giving up the run in the 6th, but she has been solid.
First pitch high for a ball to Josie Bauer.
But one thing she needs to continue with here is hitting spots. She has done a good job of getting these Baylor hitters, much like we've seen the OU hitters, to chase outside of the zone. But one reason she's been able to do that is she has worked ahead in counts.
1-0, swing and a miss, 1-1. DJ, I know that with the Sooners in the dugout right now, it's, hey, how quickly can our Sooners in the field, it's how quickly we can get back to the dugout. But they've got some soul searching to do here with some of the at-bats they've had here today.
We have not seen great at-bats coming from the Sooners today, as we see a hit by pitch.
Leadoff hitter aboard for the 2nd straight inning. 3rd time this game.
And I think the biggest thing that I think is going to be addressed, regardless of the outcome of this game, I mean, the Sooners could come out in the 7th and put up 2 runs very well, and it's a W. However, and Destiny, I think you can speak to this as well, the lack of adjustments at the plate are going to be addressed.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know what the approach was. I know typically, like when we were playing, there was an approach, there was a plan, and that could change inning to inning if necessary. And I didn't see, they're still swinging at balls over their head, balls blowing out, and Orm isn't going to stop throwing those pitches.
No.
And so I think throughout the entire game, it's really rare for us to see that with OU hitters. And I think another thing that's going to be addressed is figuring out how to piece it together, because this is going to be a lot more common throughout the rest of the season.
0-1 is a bunt attempt by Binford that she misses. Quickly, no balls and 2 strikes to leave Binford 0 for 2 on the game. By the way, Grace Powell did pitch run there for Josie Bauer, who was hit by the pitch. So you want to get back in the inning with back in the dugout, limited damage, but you can't allow Baylor to pile on any more runs here. Pitch up high. Good job by Elam to make sure that didn't get to the backstop. This is the 4th time the Sooners and Bears have met this season. In the previous 3 meetings, OU outscored Baylor 29-4. And here today, as we play with nobody out in the top of the 7th inning, it's 1-zip Bears. The 1-2 up high again, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And one thing I feel like we have seen Baylor do. Now, granted, Baylor has, I think, 12 strikeouts on the day.
Yep.
That's a ton. But we are seeing adjustments. 13, excuse me. We are seeing adjustments from Baylor. We're starting to see that rise ball go by for a ball now. And it has been a strike all day.
2-2 pitch is fouled back. Binford stays alive. Has been as nerve-wracking of an afternoon as we've had this season. Right up there with the Sunday game against Utah. The Sooners couldn't get anything going. There's a ground ball back to Troutwine, to second for 1, to first. Bring it up! 1-6-3 double play as Hope Troutwine turns it. And why not get the momentum going with the defense, Destiny?
This is exactly what you want to see. You need that spark, whether it's offensive or defensively, and for Hope to know, right off the bat, I'm going to feel this, and for Grace to be prepared. You see her kind of shuffling her feet to catch that ball with the right foot forward and be able to make that play at first. It's exactly what you need to get the momentum in that OU dugout.
2 outs for Kendall Cross, who hit one that nearly left the yard here in the 5th inning. And she takes the first pitch up and away for ball 1. This is, it's almost as if 2 different teams are wearing the jerseys today based on how the first 3 times these teams squared off this season. 1-0 swing and a miss. And that's not a knock on anyone, on Oklahoma or to Baylor. It's just, this has been college softball today, where that 3rd day sometimes doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, and that's conference. That's conference season. It's day 3. It's getaway day. It is all kinds of things.
1-1 is in for a strike, 1-2.
But not only, playing a team 3 times is tough. They've played 4 times. And by the time Big 12 Conference tournament rolls around, there's a good chance they play 5 times.
Yep.
It's hard to beat anybody 5 times.
The 1-2 is up high, 2-2. Yeah, you think about Big 12 tournament time with, gosh, I'm really getting ahead of myself for the first weekend of the season. But if you think about the Sooners, you're going to be potentially in a bracket where Baylor, it seems as if they're clearly behind Texas and Oklahoma State. So this could be on your bracket, as this is fouled back on the 2-2. But in that same vein, there is that side where I called it the old J.V. Haney. It's like, well, if you've beaten a team 3 times, you should be able to beat them a 4th time.
Agree.
Beat them twice, you should beat them a 3rd time.
Well, especially in run rule fashion,
That's right. That's right. Hey, man, this has been a gutty performance as the 2-2 pitch is fouled off. Baylor had every excuse to come in here and just basically throw the jerseys out and say, we've been smoked all 3 times we've played this team, but as has typified its season this year, they bring out a solid performance in a lot of ways when you almost least expect it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch Line drive left field and pretty deep, but Lou's got a beat on it. Makes the catch to end of the 7th. The Sooners got to run. They got to load the bases. Jada Coleman will lead it off. So there's some promise there.
There isn't Jada Coleman, and one thing that we see from her in the walk back in the 5th, she's pumping her fists and trying to get that Sooner dugout awake and up and ready to roll.
Takes the first pitch. Good pitch for a strike.
And I think one thing that this is going to take us back to is just competing every inning. You have to win every inning, and I know throughout the season they haven't necessarily had to lock in on that. And I think just with that double play that Troutline had and, you know, the momentum builder, they have to come in and win this inning.
0-1 swing and a miss. Coleman chased one, and quickly Jada's behind. No balls and 2 strikes. Jada takes a little walk. Getting encouragement barked to her from the on-deck circle where Alyssa Brito waits. Late shift towards the middle of the field from West at second base. The 0-2 is out, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Coleman on the day is 0 for 1. Walked and was stranded at third in the 5th. Sooners' only hit in this game came in the first inning. Tiare Jennings. Baylor's only hit came in the 6th. And they scored their run. Here's the 1-2 pitch in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. What are you looking for here if you're Jada, Destiny?
You know, I think with the way that West is shifted, you know that ball's going to come outside. I think what you need to lay off of is the rise ball. You don't want to pop up in this situation. Anything that's low on the outer half of the plate is something that you could potentially work with, whether it's a bunt or, you know, dragging it down past the third baseman.
2-2 is fouled off. Hard hit foul ball.
But in this situation, you just want the ball on the ground. You need to put pressure on the defense, and you need to find your way on.
And then when she gets on, notice Wynn being optimist.
We start passing that torch.
That's right.
Yes.
It's that great base stealing threat, too. Sooners down a run. The 2-2 pitch to Jada Coleman. Fouled off again. This is the same Orm that gave up 8 runs in 2 2/3 on Friday night. And here today, she has been fantastic. 6 innings of 1-hit ball with 4 strikeouts. She has walked 4 batters. Neither team has a hit with a runner on base. They're a combined 0 for 15. The 2-2 pitch to Jada Coleman. Ball 3.
Great at bat by Coleman, but very similar to what we saw back in the 5th when she led off the 5th with a walk. Working deep into counts, staying disciplined. Her pitch selection this at bat has been tremendous.
And Orm has done a really good job of keeping her eyes kind of all over the place. She's working up and out, down and in.
Full count. Orm brings it home. Line shot left field, right at the left fielder's strain, and there's 1 away. She hit it hard, but right at strain, and now the Sooners are down to their last 2 outs on a laser off the bat of Coleman.
That's tough. I really feel like that's one of the best at-bats we've seen all day.
Yeah, she battled in there. She was smart. She was selective. And that was a hard-hit ball. You know, some slappers don't have their left fielders playing that deep. So, you know, it could have gotten through. But I think she did a really good job of pitch selection.
Brito, a little bit more deliberate getting in the box here. Reached on an error in the 5th. What was a heck of a play by Aaliyah Binford over at third. Here's the first pitch. In for a strike.
I will say this, regardless of how this game shakes down, there are going to be tons of people getting this film and watching Orm and her pitch sequences trying to figure out, because, I mean, she's been the only pitcher to hold the Sooner team at bay all season.
It's not even close. They've faced some of the best pitchers in the country. The 0-1 is ripped foul. I mean, I was digging on Orm as this game has progressed, just in how the Sooners have struggled. She did this against Oregon in the first game of that 3-game set, where she pitched a complete game 4-hitter, struck out 6. Baylor won that game 3-0. So she has an impressive win on her resume already this season. None, though, would be more impressive than this. See what Brito can do with the 0-2 pitch. Battle to stay alive and give the Sooners another chance here. The 0-2 is ripped foul again. And fittingly enough that we bring up a game against Oregon for the Oregon transfer. Back in the starting lineup today in right field. Jocelyn Allo had played in the field a couple of games this weekend. So Brito came off the bench, but after Kinsey Hansen started the first 2, they gave her a rest day today. Here's the 0-2 to Brito. Another hard hit ball foul. Look out. Fans down in the front row got the hands up. That thing had so much juice. I don't think I blame them. Get a little jumpy when you're that close to it.
Brito's being very deliberate, taking her time outside of the box, trying to gain a little bit of control. Orm has been in control of this game.
Yep.
Slow the game down.
Johns waits on deck. Let's do the 0-2 again. Outside. Good take. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I go back to the pitch sequence. It's been a work of art for Orm today. And to be able to hit spots the way that she's done, she's worked in. You can see the game plan unfold. She's worked in on the hands and then gotten the chases away, up, down, changing the eyes.
Here's the 1-2 pitch to Brito. Swing and a miss, 2 away. Here comes Jana Johns.
Just as we talked about pitch sequence, 0-2, we saw 2 outside pitches well off the plate, 1 for a foul ball, and then here she comes in. Again, a gutsy pitch, but getting that downward break, falling right off the table.
Well, looky here. Kinsey Hansen is going to pinch hit for the Sooners.
I like it.
Hansen, who has, I mean, I said Kinsey Hansen's amazing, but since coming back from some time away, battling a couple of injuries, she has not hit the ball well. But Patty Gasso says, all right, I'm putting one of my best hitters in the biggest situation so far in this early season for the Sooners.
And that's what it's all about. I think Hansen is definitely mature enough. You know, she has the experience. This is a good position for her to really spark something.
And she hasn't seen Orm yet today. First pitch is lifted pretty deep to left field. It's not going to be deep enough, and if it's caught, it's going to end the game, but it's missed. Strain overran it in foul territory. Wow, what a break for the Sooners.
I'm watching that, and what a mistake.
You've got to have that.
What a mistake. Because that's ball game and routine. And we don't have wind as an issue.
Right.
Kinsey's going to go down and talk to Coach Gasso here. She called for time. Orm had a smile on her face. And the way she's been throwing today, she might have the confidence where she thinks she can come right back and get Kinsey Hansen. If this is the Orm that Baylor's going to get, they're right in there to win the Big 12 Conference. I mean,
yeah, she's doing really well. And it's from our perspective, it is tough to lay off of some of her pitches. Where they land is what we see, and you know there must be some movement. But in this situation, for Kinsey to come up and be willing to swing at that first pitch, you know, Strain has to have that ball to get Orm out of this game.
Quick shift late again by West towards the middle of the field. So here's the first pitch to, or the 0-1 pitch to Hansen. Looper, right field. If it falls, it's in. It's in. A base hit by Kinsey Hansen will bring Lou Donahue to the plate on a muscle shot out to right field, and Riley Boone will pinch run here.
And that's what happens. 2 pitches. One arguably should have been the end of the ball game.
Right.
And then now we have a base hit getting ready to roll back to the top of this order. Those are the types of things that can lose you a ball game real quick.
Kinsey Hansen will be pinch run here by Riley Boone. That broke a streak of 24 straight plate appearances by the Sooners without a hit. And their second hit of the game comes with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th inning. Patty Gasso has... All right, now they're officially, I thought she had called for time for a moment, but they've officially sent Boone over to first base to pinch run here. And Lou Donahue will bat. Lou doesn't have a statistical plate appearance at bat today. She's walked both times in each of her plate appearances. So Lou has a chance to try to put the Sooners on the scoreboard here in the bottom of the 7th inning of a 1-zip game. OU trailing Baylor. Let's see if she attacks early after walking twice. First pitch is looped into left field. It falls for a base hit. And the Sooners will turn it over to the top of the lineup on a first pitch base hit by Lou Donahue. Her first hit of the game.
Here come the Sooners.
Here, passing the torch, and it kind of goes back to Strain. That is an out that you have to have. And, you know, to give Hansen a second chance in that batter's box, to give her a chance to build the momentum. Now you get the crowd going, you get the girls out the dugout. So much more goes into just a missed pop fly.
And that's going to be, we're seeing more excitement out of the OU dugout than we've seen all game. But the Sooners got a gift. Let's not forget that. This game should have been over. Right.
You got to take advantage of it, too, when you get it.
And they have so far. So I'm excited to see. Jennings is who I want up in this situation.
Yes.
If you could pick a hitter right now, it might be Tiare Jennings, who is 1 for 3 on the day. Singled in the first, but flied out to center and popped out to the catcher. So Patty Gasso brought everyone together. They retreat back to their base paths with Donahue at first, Boone at second. Let's see if Tiare Jennings attacks early in the count here with Allo waiting on deck. Sooners down a run. We're in the bottom of the 7th. OU looking to stay undefeated on the season. Baylor looking for a signature win. The first pitch is low, ball 1.
That's what I was hoping to see out of Jennings. I was hoping she didn't come in swinging at the first pitch.
Collasos thought it was a strike, too. Did you see how she fired out?
Yeah.
The catcher for Baylor.
Yeah, she needs, for Jennings, she's got to get settled in and really make Orm work and battle through this count.
High drama at Marina Hines Field. Sooners trail at 1-zip. Runners at first and second. The 1-0 pitch to Jennings outside, 2-0.
You've got to go after Jennings here. You don't have any place to put Allo. I mean, a walk to Jennings is putting the winning run at second base. You've got to go after Jennings here and make Jennings beat you.
2 balls and no strikes. Big time hitters count here. Orm brings it home. Ball 3. Jennings' first inning hit put the Sooners in a position where they had runners at first and second with just 1 out. Actually, they had first and second with nobody out when Jennings was forced out on the fielder's choice by Lyons. It's second best scoring threat the Sooners had until now. Here's the 3-0 to Jennings. That's in for a strike, 3-1.
And that's a good take. I think that's a good take for Jennings. You know, a little bit up. Could have been a pitch that she could have worked with, but you want to keep making Orm battle through this count.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I think it's going to have to be something really sweet here for Jennings for her to unload.
Donahue at first. Great speed, and Boone at second.
Tons of room in the outfield.
The 3-1 is lifted pretty deep to center field. Tiara Jennings, cold game. Jennings, cold game. Oklahoma wins it on a walk-off 3-run bomb from Tiara Jennings. Win column Sooners. Game over.
Wow. For the dramatics.
To the deepest part of the field. Jennings loses one on a 3-1 count to center field. And Oklahoma got an opportunity with the mistake in foul territory down the left field line. They take advantage of it, and they're 29-0 on the season. And not many have given you the butterflies and the nervous energy that this one did today, and the pitching of Dariana Orm. Final score, Oklahoma 3, Baylor 1 on a walk-off 3-run home run from Tiara Jennings. Wow. You said it. It had to be a perfect pitch, DJ Sanchez, and it was.
You could say that. You could say that. Biggest miss we'd seen from Orm today, and Jennings made her pay in the worst way. That didn't just leave the field. That left the entire yard. It was gone.
Love to see that energy, something that Destiny Martinez was lacking a little bit from the dugout today. And Jennings provided it with a big shot late. Wow. In case you couldn't tell, that would be our Whataburger home runs this season. Home runs brought to you by Whataburger. For curbside now, download the Whataburger app. Unbelievable as Tiara Jennings hits home run. Let's get where is Tiara stat-wise. 12 on the season. 35, 36, and 37 in runs batted in, which is inching towards Jocelyn Allo. She's second on the team. And it's time for the Bud Light post-game show. Whenever there's a Sooner game to watch, there's a Bud Light there. Please drink responsibly. With DJ Sanchez, with Destiny Martinez, I'm Chris Plank. DJ, I'll start with you because on a day today when we were honoring the memory of the great Joan Joyce, who passed away, one of the all-time great pitchers, we had ourselves a pitcher's duel here on a Sunday afternoon in Norman, didn't we?
Yes, we did. And Hope Troutwine was tremendous. She got her strikeout. She got a huge number of strikeouts today against Baylor and kept the Sooners in the game. It's not very often we've had to see the Sooner pitching staff hang zeros for very long, and Hope Troutwine did it and kept this team within striking distance.
A complete game one-hitter from Troutwine. She struck out 13, walked 3. It's wild, Destiny, because the only hit she gave up was the run. She gave up the hit with one out in the 6th inning that led to a run off the Mackenzie Wilson ability to move on the base paths. But Destiny, you've talked about it. She was hitting every single angle possible here today.
Yes, Troutwine did a really good job of working all sides of the plate and getting these hitters to chase. And I think that was really the name of the game for both sides. The hitters were chasing, and the pitchers were able to continue and make them chase throughout the entire game. And, you know, what a performance from Orm and Troutwine collectively.
This is a no-brainer, but if we could co-player of the game, presented by the Jimmy Austin OU Golf Club, Troutwine would get one, and DJ, boy, Tiara Jennings would have to get the other for that clutch moment.
Clutch, clutch, clutch. And the excitement, and as soon as that ball left her bat, she knew it was gone. But what a great battle. And it came out at the end on top for the Sooners. But what an exciting moment for Tiara Jennings.